guys, welcome to W&L Reviews. Today we are going to be reviewing 3 movies: Saving Mr. Banks, Mary Poppins, and Mary Poppins Returns. And with that being said, I'll let my mom start us off.
Okay, so this week we started off with watching Saving Mr. Banks, and I myself, as soon as I saw it come out to theaters, I wanted to go see it. And unfortunately was not able to until recently, and we watched it the other night, and I'm glad I waited. It is a great movie. Um, it is all on the workings of Walt Disney trying to get P.L. Travers, the woman who wrote Mary Poppins, to agree to the character of Mary Poppins in the movie and everybody who played in the original Mary Poppins movie. It's very cute. It's sometimes infuriating, but Tom Hanks plays Walt Disney. Emma Thompson plays P.L. Travers, and it is a really great movie. It definitely, you can see where she used bits and pieces from her childhood as character threads through the book of Mary Poppins. It was very well put together, very fun. Um, Emma Thompson, she plays P.L. Travers, like I said, and her character can sometimes be infuriating. That's what I meant when the movie can be a little infuriating at times. She was just very stuck in her ways, very wanted everything precise and concise and everything had to go perfect. And just love the way it was executed. With that, I will hand the baton over to my daughter and let her tell you what she thought.
I also really enjoyed Saving Mr. Banks. I liked how they delved into how P.L. Travers' childhood was one of the main drives of why she wrote Mary Poppins, and a lot of things that occurred in her childhood were implemented into the story. I also liked how they talked about saving Mr. Banks, which is the whole point of Mary Poppins. At face value, you'd think, oh, Mary Poppins is there to help the children, stuff like that, but no, it's to save Mr. Banks because he's forgotten how to be a child and how to interact with his children. And I really liked how they explained that because that's something that not a lot of people actually know. And I just really enjoyed how laughable it was at how infuriating P.L. Travers was in the original making of Mary Poppins and trying to get her to agree with what they were wanting to do. And at every turn she said, no, that's not right. Their house doesn't look like this, and stuff like that. It was so annoying that you had to laugh, otherwise you would scream at her. And so I really enjoyed the whole movie. I loved how they were able to implement all of the songs from the actual Mary Poppins so that you could see the thinking behind when they were writing these songs. And I liked how they did that because then you got to also not only get the view of P.L. Travers, but you got to get the view of the filmmakers and the people who were writing the scripts and stuff. And so I thought that was really cool. Next, we're going to talk about the original Mary Poppins. I'll let my mom talk about it next.
Mary Poppins. Now, If you have never seen Mary Poppins, I strongly suggest that you watch it. It's very entertaining. I've seen it many, many times, and I think this was the first time my daughter saw Mary Poppins. I have seen Mary Poppins a handful of times when I was a child, and even as an adult, I've seen it many times, and it never, to me, never grows old. It's one of those movies that you can watch multiple times, and it still touches you. Um, it's silly and fun and entertaining, and it definitely brings you back to your childhood when you had that creative imagination. Um, some people, when as they grow older, lose that, and others tend to keep it. I think that this movie brings you back, and the music, you know, I was singing along with most of the songs in the movie, um, because I've watched them so many times. It is, something that becomes second nature to you. It just is something you do because it's not only is it fun, but it just becomes, you know, like I said, second nature. And I'll let my daughter tell you what she thought of the movie.
I really enjoyed the movie, and I thought it was very cute. I also think that the movie was pretty revolutionary for its time, because Mary Poppins, I believe, came out before Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which, another good movie you should see.
It did come out before
That's
that.
what I thought.
Came
But,
out in the 60s.
well, as I was saying, it was, you're fine. As I was saying, it was very revolutionary for its time because in the movie there were real life people as well as animated characters, which I don't believe had been done before, at least in an American film. And so it was really cool how they were able to implement both real life people and the animated world all in one. Even though, which we found out in Saving Mr. Banks, P.L. Travers did not want any animation in her film, in this film. However, it happened anyways, and I thought it was absolutely amazing because it was another way to be able that that both kids and adults could enjoy it, because the kids could, even the adults could enjoy the animated parts, but it wasn't completely animated, so the adults didn't feel like they were just watching a little kids movie. It was, I guess what I'm trying to say is it was very well done the way they did it, so that both adults and kids could enjoy it, and it wasn't just one-sided who would enjoy it. Next is 2018's Mary Poppins Returns.
Mary Poppins Returns. I wasn't sure what to think of it. I had heard mixed reviews, and so part of me was a little bit like, oh no, they're gonna try to, you know, replace the original Mary Poppins, which, let's be honest, nobody can replace the original Mary Poppins. So I had kind of a preconceived idea of what may be. However, that idea to me was not even close. Mary Poppins Returns is it's very cute. It takes place with Michael and Jane grown up, and it Michael has 3 children, and Michael and Jane are living in their childhood home, and it's at first it was very confusing. So I will say, if you watch it, give it a little bit before you turn it off. And I at first was like, okay, I'm not very sure about this movie, but as it went further, I started to really enjoy it. And it has people in the movie that surprise you. Colin Firth was in the movie, Meryl Streep, Angela Lansbury, Dick Van Dyke, um, and it was just wonderful. The music was original. It was not a repeat of the music from Mary Poppins. Um, and there was dancing scenes, there was singing. It's very sweet, very cute. Um, I do recommend that this be a movie for everyone, not just um, families or small children, people with small children. I recommend this for anyone, uh, as I do the all of the movies. I will say that Saving Mr. Banks is probably a little bit deep for a little kid to understand, but as far as as far as the workings of how Mary Poppins came to be, but all in all, I think if a little kid watched it, they might, you know, be okay with it because it did have little goofy things here and there that were sprinkled in. Um, but Mary Poppins Returns is a very cute movie, and I have to say that if you've never seen Nanny McPhee, Nanny McPhee to me was like a trial run for Mary Poppins Returns, and I even said that to my daughter as we were watching the Mary Poppins Returns. Um, Nanny McPhee had Emma Thompson, who played Nanny McPhee, Colin Firth, who played the father, and Angela Lansbury, who played the great aunt. And there was a cast of other people that I'm not real familiar with. I've seen them; they're familiar faces, but their names aren't as familiar. Um, that were in that movie. Um, Mary Poppins Returns. You know, when I first heard it was coming out, I had really high hopes, and then my hopes were dashed because I had heard bad reviews and mixed reviews. Um, I will say that again, you have to see it for yourself, but my view, I loved it. I thought it was very cute. I thought it was very sweet. Um, I will say that watching it at first, you kind of go, oh no, they're gonna change everything. And Mary Poppins Returns. It is a different woman who plays Mary Poppins, obviously, and and that's a little bit of a kind of a weird spot, um, because she's young and everybody else around her has grown up, and I guess it's kind of like a Peter Pan kind of situation, I guess. But other than that, I think the movie was really cute, and it was entertaining. You danced and got the giggles, and it was very fun. And I brightened up when I saw that Dick Van Dyke came on the scene. I already knew he was going to be in the movie. I just, and I was looking everywhere, like, where's he going to be? What part's he coming into? So, and then when he showed up, it was really cool. So, I will now pass the baton to my daughter and let her tell you what she thought of the movie.
I really enjoyed Mary Poppins Returns. I think it was a really good movie. The only critique I have is the woman who played Mary Poppins in the very beginning. She was very curt with the adults. And yes, in the original Mary Poppins was also semi curt, but it was different because the woman who played Mary Poppins in the original could do it in a more she could be curt in kind of a more kind way that you could accept more. As for the new woman, was very curt and almost to the point where she seemed rude. Now, when I first saw that at the beginning, I was really worried because I thought they were gonna have her like this through the entire movie, and I was worried about that because that's not who Mary Poppins is. But luckily they didn't. It was just that scene. But other than that, I really enjoyed the movie and the songs, and I thought it was very enjoyable. Don't, anyways, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more videos.
See you
Bye.
later, guys. Bye.
Bye.